Hi, I'm Eugene from the Centre for Building Better Community. I thought I'd share some words today about the idea of lament and celebration. Now, this is one of the 6 different factors that's included in the Flourishing Framework developed here at the Centre. And the Flourishing Framework is really a list of the different things that we need in order to truly flourish as individuals and as a community. I particularly like the concept of lament and celebration because it's one of those things that we don't often deliberately think about. They often get thrust upon us and shoved in our calendars, but we often don't overtly plan to celebrate or lament things. And so what better a time to discuss this than this year, 2020, the whirlwind of a year that it's been already, and with all the challenges that it's thrown at us, from bushfires to coronavirus to police brutality to and what that means for us here in Australia and the recession and what that means for us going forward. There are so many reasons to feel disappointed or to feel let down by the way that things have turned out, knowing that our expectations haven't been met for the year. But with all these challenges, there are also many opportunities for us to show ways that we've overcome the challenges and shown resilience as individuals and as a community. And so there are also opportunities to celebrate. And I think overall, Australia is not too bad at celebrating things. You know, if you look at the annual calendars, we have festivals and we have public holidays and we have major sporting events. And these are all excuses for us to come together as a community and to recognize that these are things that we love, or these are things that we ascribe worth to. And on a personal level, we tend to celebrate, the passing of a new year or a birthday or the birth of a child. We might celebrate getting a new job or getting a promotion or a graduation. And sometimes that can be hampered a little bit by tall poppy syndrome or not wanting to be seen to get a big head. But overall, I think we're pretty good at celebrating things. And, a lot of our celebrations are factored in specifically in advance. What I think we're not so good at doing is lamenting things when things don't go the way that we want them to. And whether that's just a case of the she'll be right attitude or something that's left over from, keep calm and carry on, we tend to resort first and foremost to becoming a bit of an emotional brick and saying, okay, the show must go on. The problem with this is that while it's sometimes necessary in the short term just to be able to plow through, if this continues on, it can build upon one denial after another. And over time, it can actually say, well, what matters to you doesn't matter to the rest of the community, or what matters to you doesn't matter at all. There's a subtext there that can be really unhealthy, and it can actually feed into our sense of identity. And so what begins as a source of distress can actually snowball into a major trauma that changes the way that we see ourselves and changes the way that we see the world around us and how we interact with that world. And that can be a really dangerous thing. What we really need is for the community to come around us in the same way that someone's birthday might be celebrated and they feel cherished as a result of that celebration. We as a society need to come around people who are hurting and mourn with them. And in doing that, we're saying, the proverb says, joy shared is joy doubled and sorrow shared is sorrow halved. We share the burden with them. By showing compassion, we are literally, if you look at the definition of the word, suffering with them. And there's something about going through that struggle together that binds us closer together as individuals and as a community. It builds trust because of the vulnerability that's shown. But it does take vulnerability to receive in that sort of situation. But what it means is we come out more resilient and more on the same wavelength than we were before. Here's our challenge. In the midst of all these things happening, and days when you simply don't want to read the news, or you regret having read the news. What can we do? Well, here's my suggestion for today. How about we make some time and we make some space to celebrate and to lament? We schedule that time in. And that's going to look different for different people. For some people, they might want to lament over the fact that things haven't gone the way they wanted to. Maybe I lost my job. Maybe it's a case of the family holiday isn't happening because international travel isn't happening. It doesn't need to be a big thing. If it matters to you, it matters. And that's the whole thing. You don't want to write off the things that matter to you. And so some people's way of doing that will be to lock themselves in a bathroom for 10 minutes and just to say, this is my crying time. I'm going to get it all out of my system, and then I'm going to get back to what I need to be doing because I'm actually needed out there. But it's recognizing and it's having a bit of grace for yourself to be able to say, okay, things aren't always great. It's an opportunity to recognize disappointments and sadnesses, no matter how small they might be. To recognize that it's okay to be angry. It's not necessarily okay to stay in that angry place, but it's understandable that we sometimes get angry over things. And most importantly, it's an opportunity for us to share our pain. So to hear out other people, to acknowledge their pain, and to let them know that that's okay, that's normal. The freeing thing about this is we don't need to fix it. We just need to show empathy. People don't necessarily need to be fixed. They can often find their own answers. But in sharing the journey along this line of pain, it actually helps people to realize that they are not as alone as they felt.